Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Bring the water!
Welcome into the most electrifying hour of the week right here. So let me tell you something, brother. Today, I heard it in a song, but the Smackdown.
What was the song? Who sang it?
It was Dwayne.
Oh, it was Dwayne. Oh, that one.
Hey, Uncle Pete is throwing out right now a StreamYard link out. If you're out there, grab that, copy it, put it in your URL. And then come on aboard. I know he's busy. He's on the road.
He's on the road on his way back. He's celebrating his son's birthday.
Yeah. Where'd they go?
So, they're out in Brookfield with his parents, I believe.
We went to a zoo.
I don't know if they went to the zoo. We could find out whenever
Family
he signs in.
Hey, thank you very much.
They saw my family.
There it is.
They went by the hippo
there.
section.
Good stuff. So a lot going on.
No, that's good. Yeah, since our last show, because like our last show kind of got bumped with 5 viewers for the Reject Rundown AEW Revolution pay-per-view, where we had like an hour for us to finally get the feed to watch it.
Yeah, had a little technical difficulty.
Oh, that was something else. Like it wasn't just them as Bleacher Report as a whole. Just they couldn't handle.
They fumbled.
Yeah, they fumbled on Steen's last day. It was like 45 minutes into the show. We were finally able to get it on. I think TK was charged 2 or 3 times on his credit card for a pay-per-view.
Oh,
so I don't know if he got that taken care of or not.
I hope he did.
But I mean, overall, that was a very right now for wrestling. That was the best pay-per-view of the year between the two companies.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, FTR had a great match with Moxley and Claudio, and I think our only issue with that match was just the way how it ended. Overall, it was a terrific match. It was just kind of like a lame finish.
Yeah.
But other than that, like the card was pretty solid. Osprey and Takeshita, probably match of the year.
It's a good one.
No, I mean they have the good solid wrestlers. Now they just got to work on their storytelling.
Yeah. There we go.
And later on that week, Osprey had a match then against Fletcher, the Ring of Honor champion, TV champion. That would probably be match of the year for free TV or cable TV, not free TV. But I mean, Osprey, he is something he's the future. I mean, with him there, he's going to have a big match against Bryan Danielson, April 21st, Dynasty pay-per-view in St. Louis, which is going to probably be the return of MJF back to AEW. So, I mean, did you watch any of the highlights of that, Kent?
I did not.
Why not?
I did not. I did not. I apologize.
Oh, man.
I apologize.
I'm supposed to be my wise man.
Yeah, I know. I didn't.
But then, then it was the final match of the night was Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks. And got some nostalgia out there. Both of his Sting's sons dressed up.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Surfer Sting and Wolfpack Sting.
Yeah.
And they came in the match right away and did some splashes.
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of people thought, like, especially Surfer Sting, like, wow, that's what he's coming out as. They had appearances by Steamboat and Flair came in the match too. Darby Allin had just a stupid spot, jumping off a ladder that was underneath him was a pane of glass laid on top of chairs.
Yeah.
And it was just like there's no need for it. at all. I mean,
shattered nice.
Right. If one of the Young Bucks was laying on there, it would have made more sense.
Right.
But one was standing in front of it, and the other one took him away before he even jumped. It was just like,
right. It was like doing a nesty clutch.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
but overall, I mean, I think when you think about like a lot of times, I don't know if they broke the tradition with how guys go out. Usually, the older guy loses the match for the younger talent to pave the way. And Tony Khan's like, no, you, and even the Young Bucks and Darby Allin, like, you've been undefeated your entire time here. Like, you're not going out that way. You're going to win the match, and we're going to have a celebration. So,
There we go. Yeah.
So I mean, that's part of your childhood, and right now gone.
Well, your child.
From my childhood,
Yeah, I was
my generation's childhood.
That's right. I was old.
I think what's left is pretty much Jericho and The Rock. That's it.
Those are, well, I mean, Goldberg still gets in stuff.
Just Jericho and The Rock.
Oh, that's funny.
So then the Undertaker spoke up like, "Oh, well, since Sting retired, now we can't do that one-on-one match." Yeah. But I mean, they still technically can do this cinematic match. But, yeah. Voice is finally coming back. It's been like, I don't know.
The joy of coaching.
Joy of coaching and kids getting sick. And
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I just went through it too.
I felt like every weekend, like
something.
And like Monday would be horrible. Tuesday morning, it'll be like, what happened to your voice? And
yeah, I'm just getting through it. Took my bike out. Got a little too much cold air out there. Riding the motorcycle and got a sinus infection.
Ooh.
Last 4 days, wake up at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
just coughing. I'm like, God damn. Crazy.
Oh, what bug's going on right now?
Yeah, a lot of them, a ton of them.
I think I'm catching like everyone, but not getting the full effect of it.
Right. Just here's a little kiss. That's it. Of course, Uncle Pete's out there for you. There's Alex. Let's see if I can get him in here. Alex, are you there?
I'm here.
There he is.
There we go. We got Alex there. Live via satellite.
Live via satellite. Team is still together.
There it is. I looked down. He was just sitting there in the green room waiting.
Just saying happy belated Austin 316 day. So
Yeah.
That was a good one. Did you do some
Drink beer and some stunners?
stunners?
I did stunner the kids a couple times. You know, I was gonna do my boss, but I didn't want to end up with a black eye for work, so I did not stun my wife.
Yeah.
She stunned you instead.
That's right.
She's been stunning me for 10 years.
Hey, thank you very much. Good stuff. So what's on your mind, Alex? Happy birthday to the little man.
Yes, my little leprechaun. Honestly, just this week, interesting. Kind of the backstage stuff. I'm sure Tom's got an agenda that he wants to talk about. But what I just kind of think is interesting is a lot of the bad heat that the WWE is getting this last week with all the federal charges, all the rumors that have been coming out, but now also all the backlash towards The Rock. I'm kind of think is very interesting right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's where it's like they pretty much use The Rock to kind of sweep the whole McMahon allegations under the rug and distract you.
Yeah.
And he's been like questionable language he's using in his Instagram promos and Twitter feed or whatever. It's like that's not the ideology that WWE has been for the last several years, but he's now a board member, kind of in charge, so he can do what he wants.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, for us older fans,
within reason.
We're used to the Attitude Era. We love it.
Right.
But then it's like you got like the PG era that's been used to it for the last 20 years or so. They don't want their kids hearing that stuff. And here's Mona or Maui swearing and stuff like that. So I could see that backlash happening.
Your
but
kids shouldn't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch any latest John Cena movies.
Ricky Stenicki.
Ricky Stenicki. Have you seen that yet?
I haven't yet.
So that's on Prime right now. I have that on my notes. Since it's brought up now, we'll talk about it now.
Yeah.
It's with Zac Efron, John Cena.
Yeah.
So pretty much John Cena plays a made-up friend
Yeah. Ricky Stenicki is the guy they blamed everything on
right
as
as kids,
guy.
and even as adults.
Okay.
Like if they had to get out of something, like, oh, Ricky's got cancer, we have to go see him or
Gotcha.
whatever,
Yeah.
or we got to go help him with some type of charitable fundraiser thing. So, like what he is pretty much in Atlantic City. Try it there. He sings very risque songs. He's like the Weird Al with more sexual content.
Gotcha.
with it.
Gotcha.
So his nickname is Rock Hard Rob. Just so then you understand where that's coming from.
Yeah, because he's muscular.
And I mean, it's directed by one half of the Farley brothers.
Oh,
it's Peter Farley. Yeah. So I mean, it's got that kind of vibe with it in those movies that he's done for so many years.
Yeah,
it's funny. I wouldn't go to the theater and see it, but on Prime, if you have a Prime subscription, check it out. There's some funny scenes in there.
Well, Cena showed a little bit too at the Oscars.
Oh yes.
So
he actually looked better than we did at WrestleMania.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, he tightened himself up a little bit since WrestleMania.
And that's where he said he's free on WrestleMania night 1 and 2.
Yeah. Oh,
so he'll probably make some appearance.
Yeah. A lot of women probably made that their screensaver.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just the thing with Hollywood. They always have their hit actor guy and hit actress.
Yeah.
That also makes a ton of movies that year, and it's looking like it's Cena's turn now for that part.
Big time.
Go ahead. He has been making some sketchy movies since 2018. I actually just pulled up his IMDb page. I mean, his one movie, of course, The Marines. Those were WWE made, and all these movies have the WWE production team on them. But you have Cock Blockers in 2018, Bumblebee, Fast 9, then Suicide Squad. Those were okay movies, but then he played, like I said, in Cock Blockers, Vacation Friends 1 and 2. Yep. He kind of played that same role where he's kind of a drug addict friend that is addicted to drugs and a hustler, which I thought was very interesting for his persona, because he was another one that I felt like The Undertaker took kayfabe to heart. You know,
like he was like never a heel.
Yeah, never a role model. Always was a role model. Always wanted to be that. And it was like to see him play. You know, I remember watching the Cockblockers movie with Megan, and I'm like, this is hilarious because this is not him. And he's also in a movie called Trainwreck.
Right, that was his first one.
Yes, 2015, and he just plays the meathead, and that's all he was.
And he was half naked in that movie.
Correct.
Or I'm sorry, backside.
Yes. He looked like a dude.
Yes.
And had a sock covering himself.
Yes. So.
Yeah. How he wanted to fill her up with his protein with the dirty talk.
Yes.
Hey.
And he was also in Sisters too.
Yes, he was.
He was a drug dealer in Sisters.
Yeah. So he's definitely had a very unique pre-post WWE run with movies for sure. Did not take the Batista route on that one or The Rock.
No.
Oh, he was the voice of Ferdinand, I believe.
He was. Which, I mean, again, you did so kids movies. He did Ferdinand 2017, Bumblebee in 2018, Playing with Fire, which he played a firefighter in 2019. Oh, yeah. He was something in 2020 in Dr. Dolittle with Robert Downey Jr. And then and something in 23 with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But like a lot of his stuff
was like Bebop or Rocksteady.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, Daddy's Home.
Which is funny because that was also the previous movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, was Sheamus played.
Sheamus, right?
Yeah.
And what else was he in? He was also like I thought some movie about like a kid being a high school wrestler or junior high wrestler. He was like their older brother or something in that one. I think that was a WWE studio one right after The Marine.
Well, I'm not a movie watcher.
Just
Legendary.
Legend. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He's in Daddy's Home, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in Daddy's Home with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh yeah, Daddy's Home and Daddy's Home 2. Daddy's Home 2 is probably like my new favorite Christmas movie.
It's a good one.
It's definitely the Christmas movie.
You got Mel Gibson makes kind of a comeback in that one too, and
Yeah, you got
That's
Mark
one of my favorite
Wahlberg,
dad
Will
jokes ever.
Ferrell, yeah, John Cena, Mel Gibson, and then John Lithgow. I think is how you
John
say it.
Lithgow, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So in that movie, my favorite dad joke, I always say, like, all my kids too, like when they're like stressed out at the pitcher's mound or whatever, just go up there with a stupid joke. And I use that joke all the time is, why does a duck have feathers? To cover its butt quack. But up bump.
Hey,
Just keep the jacket on, Tom. Just keep the jacket on.
You're laughing, Kent. You like that one.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and then speaking of, like, the Hollywood movies and stuff, so like the Rock's schedule is he's going to be busy from May till August 1st, I believe they said, filming movies. So he won't be at the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view, but maybe be back in time for SummerSlam. 'Cause I think like a SummerSlam is like a week
How
after
long
his
is his
schedule.
contract for? And how long can the WWE ride The Rock?
Well,
He's on the board.
Yeah, he's on the board. He's not. I don't want to say he's in a contract like that, but
He has an unknown contract.
now, Tom, do you want to talk about the supposed Hall of Fame inductees this year?
We could get into that right now.
Okay, because reason why I bring that up is 'cause I just heard his
Grandma?
mother or grandma is being inducted.
So I've saw 2 reports on that. She hasn't been inducted yet. She still may be inducted, and as well as Bray Wyatt. So like so far, like right now, you have Paul Heyman, Bull Nakano, who was big during the Alundra Blaze era. I think like that's the only one that Alundra Blaze wrestled, because I don't think they had any other women wrestling at that time. I just remember like every pay-per-view was like those two in your houses. Thunderbolt Patterson, the US Express, which is Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, and which a lot of people don't realize that they used Hulk Hogan's original Real American theme song.
Mm-hmm.
And then the celebrity is Muhammad Ali, which I thought he was already in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're going to make it a celebrity, I mean, why is Cyndi Lauper not in there yet?
Right.
She does more for them than most of the celebrities have.
She got Big Blue Albano.
Yeah, the Rock Wrestling Connection.
Yeah, because you had that. I mean, because I think Mr. T's in there already as a celebrity. So I mean, I don't know why she wouldn't, because they were in the same world. They were in the same WrestleMania. But
again, like she did so much more than.
Right. It's probably because she has moderate to mild plaque psoriasis.
Oh. The side effects.
Because
like she even like they even used her in Young Rock, the TV show. They had Becky Lynch play her before, like at the WrestleMania party when Rock was younger.
Didn't Becky just get invited to the White House?
I don't know. Did she? I didn't see that report.
I think it's a sniffer.
He just wants to see Seth. Try on his clothes.
That's right. I don't know. Crazy. I would think that you would there's a I mean, I like Muhammad Ali, but I don't know what this does for the guy.
Oh, I mean, they're probably able to do it now since he's passed on.
Yeah.
So it's easier to have, what's his daughter's name? Tatiana
Ali.
Yeah. So like she's had that relationship with Hogan with American Gladiators years ago.
Yeah.
So,
Rikishi, I was reading, really wants China to be in there just by
herself, right?
Yeah.
A lot of women do.
Yeah.
I think eventually it would happen. I mean, right now, yeah, it's because they're following the same Vince McMahon blueprint of you have your 2 headliners, more likely.
Mm-hmm.
You have your manager, you have your tag team, you have a woman, and you have someone from the past.
No. I'm still, if you're wrestling, I'm still saying you can't get in the Hall of Fame. I mean, so Paul, I'd give him a Lifetime Achievement Award, maybe.
Right. But
save the Hall of Fame for when he's retired.
And that's where I think they're doing it now because it's in Philadelphia, the birthplace of ECW.
Yeah.
Who knows when they'll be going back there again.
Yeah.
But it's like, why aren't you getting some of the other ECW guys?
Yeah.
Like, was Taz inducted yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think he was. I know he's with AEW, but they've sometimes made exceptions, like when Billy Gunn went over there.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna do is I think Paul Heyman's gonna be that first one, and that's gonna open that door for that. I think what they're doing right now with Muhammad Ali is kind of joking, but I think they're gonna set up his daughter versus Jake Paul's next boxing match after he gets beat by Mike Tyson.
He'll be in a wheelchair.
The intergender championship match.
Yep, the intergender championship match. There we go.
Man, and Andy Kaufman was ahead of his time.
He was. He was way ahead of his time. For sure.
So yeah, and so speaking of Hall of Fame, going back to the A&E documentaries that they've been having, biography and Arrival. So like the Rival episodes that they've already shown has been Triple H and The Rock, where they're setting up something with that, the way how that thing was broadcast. Like there's going to be a feud with Triple H and The Rock soon.
Yeah.
It will be corporate stuff, but there will be something soon with that. Because The Rock does not forget people that wronged him.
No.
Nor who he has wronged too. So he'll make it up for you now if he's wronged you in the past, but he still holds that grudge. Like on his TV show, like he would not have Shawn Michaels on it at all. They just made up a character that played a totally different guy that represented Shawn Michaels. Because Shawn and Hunter wanted him gone.
Yeah.
When he was younger. Brett was one of those few guys. There we go. Well, how many minutes? 21 minutes into the show. Brett was one of the guys that stood up for The Rock and got him there.
There he was.
So, and that's where
Right
it's
in
like,
the background there.
because
right over your shoulder.
I could just see where The Rock, with all these allegations going on with Vince, Triple H knew, Stephanie knew.
Absolutely.
What's going on there? So, and then the next AEW Rival show was Jake the Snake versus Macho Man. It was the whole like that was
A&E, not A&W.
A&E, yeah, A&E.
You keep saying A&W.
Oh, A&W root beer, our proud sponsor. So yeah, in A&E they had Jake the Snake versus Macho Man, that whole feud. If you remember, it was pretty much like Macho Man's second coming.
Yeah,
because you're supposed to like retire against the Ultimate Warrior, and then gets like beat down in the ring by Sensational Sherry. Elizabeth comes out, saves Macho Man. They do the whole match made in heaven thing. They actually have a wedding that there's no interruptions during their wedding. And after a wedding, they get back and they open up a box and a cobra pops out to set up the feud with Jake the Snake.
I remember that. That's right.
So, I mean, that was a good long-term storytelling that did with that. And it's still funny to hear, like, there's stories of where Macho refused to get bit by a snake unless Jake got bit first,
Right.
to make sure that thing was devenomized.
Right.
And so Jake did it. It was like, okay, we're fine. But then he was kind of pissed off that Macho made him do that. So he really pissed off the snake. So that snake just went to town on his arm. Like, I just remember being a kid, just mortified, watching it. I always see the blood gushing out of his arm, and Jake couldn't get the snake off.
Remember that? Yeah, he had a moment of concern there.
All right.
Couldn't get that off.
Good.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then later on, then they had their feud, and then it set up the whole feud with Jake and The Undertaker after that. But that was entertaining. And then last week's was Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. So it's like the back-to-back WrestleManias, including Hell in a Cell right before that.
I feel like they've done that Rivals episode before, or like there's just been so many documentaries about the Shawn Michaels versus the Undertaker where there was really nothing new I learned about that one.
Well, that's what I've noticed, especially with A&E. When they're doing their biography on the wrestler, so like when they did it on Shawn Michaels or on the Undertaker, they're using the exact same clips from that broadcast and filling it in there. It's like, get something new. Like, why are you recycling the same thing? Like, we've already seen this.
Well, maybe the kids haven't.
Right. But what's kind of funny is like Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker never really had a rivalry until mid-late 97, August 97. That's when that whole
Hell,
when it
so
started.
good.
So it started with SummerSlam, where it was Brett versus The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels was a special guest referee. If he didn't call it down the line, he wouldn't get his title match.
Yeah,
At
they
Survivor
were throwing
Series.
him up on the shoulder and just grating his face against that fence. Of course, Michaels was a bleeder. He was a bleeder.
Mini Nature Boy.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But yeah, and like they had that casket match that screwed up Shawn's back for years. So he was just pretty much on painkillers until that WrestleMania against Stone Cold. I was gone for a while and finally came back, and then they had their matches, him and The Undertaker. Which, I mean, yeah, they were great WrestleMania matches.
They were. They were good.
And Undertaker ended Shawn's career.
Speaking of WrestleMania, what do you have anything on there with the new triple threat match announced on SmackDown?
So here's the WrestleMania card thus far.
Yeah.
So it's Cody and Seth versus Rock and Roman as a tag team match.
Tag team.
Stupid.
Dumb.
If Cody and Seth wins, no one can interfere in the match. If Rock and Roman wins, then it's Bloodline rules where anything goes.
I want to talk about that really quick, Tom.
Oh,
So I was thinking about this watching Monday night, watching Friday night, and looking at how they're kind of really playing all this. With all the people that have like come out, especially when Cody is quote unquote hunting the bloodline, all of those people have come out to like that have been wronged by the bloodline or in some way that the bloodline has interfered with. And I just wonder where I can see them setting it up to where Roman and The Rock win that fight, and it is bloodline rules. And I could see it backfiring on Roman horribly where The Rock turns on him finally, but also where you have kind of the ghosts of the past of the bloodline kind of interfere and take them out one by one. You know, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, but the big surprise would be John Cena, because that's the one thing. He doesn't have a match this year. He doesn't have an appearance scheduled for this year, but he is been talked about very heavily right now with this whole Rock in the spotlight and, you know, all of those previous wrestlers.
So I agree with you with the most part on that. I don't think Cena will get involved. I think it will be Drew McIntyre. And I think what they're setting up is kind of the whole Marvel Avengers Civil War thing, where you're going to have all these guys where the bloodline is screwed, finally come together, go fight the bloodline, and then start the new era, the Cody era, in which he's finishing his damn story. Does that just mean he dies?
Cody?
Yeah.
And that's what happened in Iron Man. Spoiler alert.
I mean, like, finishing your story doesn't mean it's over. Like, you're done.
Close.
Retire, go bye-bye.
Walk out on top.
I mean, I understand closing the chapter, but finishing your story, okay, you're done. Like, there's nothing else. And
I don't see Rock turning heel because that's what everybody wants. Everybody's anticipating because he's such a good guy in Hollywood, all this kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And good radio is always you have a push and a pull. Good wrestling has always been you have a push and a pull, right? And Mr. McMahon was always that push, right? He was always the bad guy. You know what I mean? Even when he come out as a good guy, you were like, he's a bad guy. So I think, they missed that. And because Hunter can't get back in the ring.
Right, he can't do anything.
He can't be that guy. He's always got to be Switzerland from now on, right? So I think, does Rock maintain that edge or that big boss bad guy type of a thing now?
And that's what he's been trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we'll see Nick Aldis he'll probably fill what Triple H needs to do.
Yeah.
Or what they wanted Triple H to do. They can't. Because he can still wrestle. And he's in great shape and
Yeah.
monster size.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I don't see Rock. I don't see Rock turning. You know what I mean? Going against. He's gonna play this role. He's staying where he's at in the heel spot.
well, I could see where he cost Roman the match.
Yeah.
And then they start setting up the whole inner bloodline feud, who is the actual tribal chief or high chief, and
What do you mean costing the match? He's gonna get pinned.
he'll rock bottom him, and
Nah, I don't see it.
Cody does his stupid whatever Cody cutter, and
I don't see it.
I mean, I could see him stopping one of the bloodline members from going, because you're going to have Jimmy and Jay go at it. That's going to happen, and that's going to be over from their match. But I could see Solo going in for the spike, and again, The Rock from the apron saying something, or from the ramp kind of stopping him. And that just kind of, you're going to have Roman Reigns kind of probably in the corner, kind of on the ground, and he'll look up and see that, you know, he thinks he's got Solo doing it, and then The Rock stops him, and you're not going to have that big turn, because they've hinted at a lot of The Rock turning with just simple camera angles now,
right,
of his finger not making the point, it's making an L, and then he fixes it, then he goes kind of back to it. Like, so there's a lot that they've done where they've left it up in the air. And I just feel like it's going to happen. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen on the biggest, grandest stage of them all, which is WrestleMania. And it's going to be...
Which night?
Well, it's going to be night 2.
it'll be night 2.
Because I don't think... Well, time we can talk about this right now. Is, do you think if Cody wins, and Cody and Seth wins, and it's a not stacked card against him, does it have the same draw as him winning it, or completing the story, or ending the story, however you want to say it? That if he fought everybody out there, kind of like the Daniel Bryan yes movement.
I mean, that's what they're repeating, is they're trying to repeat that yes movement thing. And for me, it's like, I just honestly don't care anymore. I mean, I don't know if it's me becoming an old bitter man. I really don't want Cody to win.
No,
his moment was
it's a year
last
too
year.
late.
It's a year too late.
I agree.
And after he wins, is it going to be like a Kofi Kingston thing? Like, okay, he's got the belt. Now what?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see him getting the belt and doing I'm a fight, like a true fighting champion, which is, I think, because there's got to be some clause with Netflix picking up the deal that they don't want to have what happened to Fox. That they want that championship on that show. They're not going to give you I think it's what reported, $5 billion.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to want the champion there. And if Roman doesn't want to be that schedule because he has a comfortable schedule right now, then I could see them putting it on Cody and letting him be a fighting champion. And because they can't repeat the previous 4 years, or even let's go further, let's go 6 years, when you had Brock Lesnar show up whenever he wanted to.
Right.
And then now you have Roman doing the same thing. Like, I don't think they're going to go to that, because I think they've learned from it. I think,
Well, and that's where it's like, yeah, I mean, that's why it makes sense now for Cody to win, because it's 40, WrestleMania 40. What happened in WrestleMania 30 was the Daniel Bryan movement. What happened at WrestleMania 20 was Chris Benoit. What happened at WrestleMania 10 was Bret Hart. They're all, it seems like the 10s are always the start of a new era. So that's where I see Cody winning, possibly changing the belt design, doing it similar to the Wayne Eagle. I mean, for me, I personally, I would have scheduled him to win it at SummerSlam. And it still would have had Rock versus Roman.
Yeah, you've been pushing for that for a while.
For years, a couple of years. But
yeah, no, I don't see it. And everybody's gonna be upset when Roman walks out the champion.
I won't.
No. Yeah, I think Cody's window narrowed too quickly. And I've been thinking about his gimmick with the suits and whatnot. And it doesn't hit right, because that's not your audience. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody loved Stone Cold, because that was
him, and Cena had the jorts.
Yeah, they had the jorts, hard
T-shirts,
blue collar, right? That's why everybody loved Dusty Rhodes, right? He was that hillbilly redneck, blue jean, flannel shirt wearing.
Son of a plumber.
Boy could hoop though. Let's be honest.
Saw those videos.
Boy could hoop. So and then here's Rhodes is 3-piece suits, and I just don't figure it out. But I don't think.
I mean, that's where they're making him like the next John Cena in many ways. Where I don't see him turning heel.
No.
He's their number one draw for kids right now.
Yeah.
And all the Cody crybabies.
Yeah, that's a shame, kids. Get over that.
So I mean, I wouldn't mind him losing at WrestleMania with them painting on the crowd with all the kids crying.
Yeah.
That's just the monster in me. So they could feel like how I felt when Hulk Hogan lost to a Warrior.
Yeah.
So then the other matches besides Roman versus Cody that we got into is Rollins versus McIntyre for the championship. I think that's going to open up probably night one. That'll be that first match, more likely, especially if Seth's wrestling later that night. I don't see them having both championships on the same day.
Yeah, no. Not gonna do that.
And I could actually see McIntyre winning and Priest cashing in.
Yeah, I could see that.
They kind of set up that feud. Then McIntyre has his rematch with Priest, then wins the belt back to go against the man that shall be nameless at SummerSlam.
Yeah. How's that going? How's that recovery going?
Supposed to be in Chicago for Raw next week.
Yeah, he'll come out.
There's some rumors they may be a special guest referee.
He'll come out because he can talk on the microphone.
And all Chicago fans get giddy over it.
I don't know why. What's another one? What's the next one?
So the SmackDown Women's Championship is Io versus Bayley.
Yeah.
I think Bayley's going to come back to her hugger persona, the old theme song. She'll probably win that because she's a Triple H girl.
Yeah, no, you guys are defending the belts, right? Against Madness and SG3.
Right.
All right.
Confidence pick. I'm giving them my free advice.
There you go. If they're listening, pay attention.
Then we got Rhea versus Becky. I think Becky puts Rhea over.
Yeah.
Her contract's up in June.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gunther versus Sami Zayn for Intercontinental Championship.
That might be the best match of the.
I think they may add Chad Gable in.
Is that right?
Because on Raw, his shoulders weren't pinned.
Yeah.
So
I think they're going to change a couple of things. There's been a couple of things trending right now on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call them, where the same movement that got Cody, we want Cody match. There's some ground that's been kind of getting made up for both Liv Morgan and Chad Gable to be put in. I'll be very shocked if it gets this close and they do it. But there's been some talks of putting Liv Morgan into that Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch, making that a triple threat. And I've also seen some for make the Gunther and Sami Zayn a triple threat. And the only reason I would be okay with both of those is I think if you do, like you said, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre night one opening, I think making those two matches triple threat matches make them longer. And if you make them longer, you're going to give him the time to quote unquote recover from a harsh match to be ready for Cody and that match. Because if you let Seth go balls to the wall the whole match and then he's a sponge in that final match, it's not going to have the pop that everyone wants it to have, and that TKO wants that draw for that WrestleMania night one main event, if that is the main event. So I could see them adding some triple threat matches to make the card longer.
Yeah, I'm speechless.
Oh, I'm looking at my notes. Because that's the other issue. Because we'll have way too many triple threat matches. Because the other one is Logan Paul versus Orton versus KO.
Yeah.
To me, that match makes no sense. They should not be doing it.
Too. You see what he said? I'm going to check with my attorney on this.
Oh, he's happy. He's got Prime over everything now.
That's right.
which we discussed before. Like
Yeah,
we
saw that coming.
I say with TKO taking over, we're going to start seeing ads everywhere.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have the Prime logo at all the premium live events in the middle of the ring. And there's going to be premier product placements for it during the show.
And you got Randy Orton going, "Ooh, this is good."
And spits it out. I mean, I think they also did that because to have that deal done before they go to Netflix, because now they don't have to share that money with Netflix.
Yeah.
For advertising and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to see more of that kind of stuff popping up before they go on Netflix so they can pocket in more money. Then we got the annual every 15-year brother versus brother match. So it started with Bret Owen at WrestleMania 10. WrestleMania 25 was Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy. So now we're here at WrestleMania 40, where it is now Jimmy versus Jey Uso. Hopefully they get Rikishi to come in and be the referee.
Bring the whole family.
The family's going to be there anyway.
Right. Yeah, that's okay.
Then you got the 6-pack ladder match where they're just trying to get more guys in for WrestleMania pay-per-view. You got Damian Priest and Finn Balor defending their titles. I don't see them walking out with it with Finn's contract up soon.
Yeah.
So it could be more likely Awesome Truth winning that one.
Yeah.
Then LA Knight versus AJ Styles.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. They're just burying LA Knight. He's barely getting a TV time anymore. I know he's been rubbing people the wrong way backstage.
Yeah.
I mean, for the
Is he
longest.
LA Knight or is he Stone Cold? Or is he
The Rock. The love child.
Right.
The man that shall not be nameless has been coaching him, I guess. He's been rubbing a lot of people backstage the wrong way.
But
thank you very much.
yeah, I mean, and that's where it's like originally it was supposed to be LA Knight versus Logan Paul for the U.S. Championship. Yeah. I mean, here's another guy that had the crowd behind him, just organically made, but because he's not fitting their mold for storyline purposes. Same thing with Sami Zayn last year. He's not fitting that mold. We gotta get some of that excitement off him to give to these other guys that we want to push you that we think is going to draw us more money.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to see Big Boss Man come back. God rest his soul. See him come back.
And then you got the more likely will be the Kabuki Warriors versus Bianca and Naomi for the women's tag to probably be a pre-show.
Yeah, don't need to see that one.
So
yeah.
So that's the current list right now for WrestleMania. I mean, for overall, when you look at the card, it's a good card. Most of the matches should be entertaining.
Yeah.
Do you see any repercussions for the traders going over to AEW to see their friend debut in Boston?
No.
You had Becky Lynch and not Becky Lynch. I'm sorry.
No, it was Bailey
and Naomi
Tamina and Naomi. Yeah. No, I don't see. Because I mean, whenever wrestlers are in a certain town, they're backstage. It's just the rule is you can't be on camera. The same thing was with Lex Luger, that being there, he could go, but he couldn't be on camera. Kevin Nash had a BS excuse, but
that guy looks
not well.
Yeah.
But the traditional WWE thing to do is wait till the guy dies and then put him in the Hall of Fame because then you make more money.
Yeah. They don't have to share.
Yep.
Don't have to share.
And they give lower proceeds to that family.
Yeah.
After he's inducted, they make that deal.
Ugh.
So, yeah, and like Alex said, Mercedes Moné debuted this last week on AEW. I saw like a report where it was like $10 million a year. I don't know if I necessarily believe that.
Oh, that's a lot.
I mean, especially when most wrestlers only make a few.
Right.
And
that's a lot.
yeah, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, AEW is repeating the same stuff WCW did. Just overpaying and not giving out the good contracts, and you'll get the short-term run. And
overpaying for subpar.
I mean, she does help booster their women's division. I think AEW's women's division is better than WWE right now. Any thoughts on that, Alex?
Oh, AEW's women's division, I think, is definitely a lot better. But again, they keep bringing in for WWE's women division. They bring in talent, and then I think they just kind of do a huge crop, and they want to see who sticks. And then you just have a bunch of mid-card wrestlers, or they're kind of going back. I was talking to Megan about this. Like, you have some that are sticking with the Diva Revolution outfits where, we're actually wrestlers. And then you still have the lingerie wearing kind of wrestlers, which, I mean, sex sells. We all know that. But it's just those matches sometimes are just like, they're still a joke. And that's just where I think AEW's matches are more, as you said, if you want to watch wrestling, you go to AEW. If you want to watch theater, you watch WWE.
Or you want to be entertained, watch WWE. Yeah.
Correct.
And I mean, and that's what's just fine right now is AEW, I would say, has the better overall roster, men and women. They just need Tony Khan to step back from being the booker and actually hire someone with that mind to get that going. Because he's trying too hard to be like Vince, but also be your friend and all this other stuff, where then all of a sudden you're his friend and you're getting booked every week on Dynamite and Collision and no one else is getting booked. It's like his shiny toy, his favorite toy he always goes back to.
Yeah, that's bad.
And the week before on AEW, the Rainmaker Okada, one of the big free agents, signed with them too. There was rumors they may be going to WWE, but it's like AEW does a lot better with the Japanese wrestlers and AAA wrestlers. And I mean, that's again like the WCW of their cruiserweight and New Japan relationship, where you get to see these guys that you wouldn't never really see on WWE.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Monet's contract, according to Forbes, has fallen short of the rumored $5 million per year. So she's sub $5 million per year.
All right. And she, after year 3, I believe she has an opt-out.
Yes. Now that opens up. I mean, you also have, is that going to affect Charlotte's negotiations? Is that going to affect, Becky's negotiations? Because they all came in around that same time. So their prime is still in front of them.
I mean, that's where I see, they're going to see, okay, well, she's getting paid this. I want that too. I mean, it's the whole Scott Hall, Kevin Nash effect. Once they went over to WCW, like, oh, you're paying them that much? I want that too.
It also doesn't help when you have, Netflix coming out publicly and be like, oh, we gave you $5 billion.
Right.
Right.
Let's spend some of that money.
And showcase it.
Correct.
And that's where I think too right now is like you see all the ratings and that kind of stuff. I mean, to me right now, ratings on TV doesn't mean anything.
No.
It's just, it's not what it was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Everyone right now is either recording it, watching it later, watching it at their own time and convenience. They're not watching it live on that spot.
That's right. Well, and that's what Netflix will do too.
Right.
It's just push it away from the live.
Because right now wrestling is actually probably the most popular it's been in the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's right up there.
But the ratings don't show that.
No.
Because a lot of them, like, they'll watch replays of Raw or SmackDown on Hulu the next day.
What about the NWA? We don't ever talk about the NWA.
NWA with Billy Corgan.
They're on the CW now.
Oh, they did officially go on CW now? Okay, I thought that was in the fall. So
Well, maybe it's coming up in the fall. But yeah,
CW Sports.
I'm excited about that.
I mean, that would be good for them. And that's that would actually help them probably once also when WWE goes to Netflix for all people that don't have Netflix accounts.
Yeah.
That still want to get some type of wrestling fix and they'll be like, oh, I recognize EC3 from before. And
Yeah, 6
Tune
month
in.
champion right now. So held the belt for 6 months. EC3, not SG3.
no, that's too sorry.
You can't hold anything.
You can't no.
Hey, sorry about that.
All right. So yeah, and then your stuff going on right now with A&E biography. So they've done Randy Orton.
Did you
Where
watch it?
I watched the last 3 that they've done. So Randy Orton, I mean, not a whole lot of new stuff I learned
Yeah.
in it. Just following his career for most of his career.
I like him now. I like
But-
he got rid of the mustache and came in with some
Yeah.
muscles.
The action figure look.
Yeah, he did.
So I mean, that's where they talked about how he was pretty much too young to be championship. I mean, he had the body and look for it, but the mentality just was too much for him. And started popping a little too many pills, and we get the warning of next one, you're out. Talked about how he went, I think he was in the Marines.
Yeah, he was a Marine.
And didn't like the hazing that was going on or whatever. It wasn't his style, is what his take on it. So then he got the discharge to go back and talk to his dad about hey, I want to be a pro wrestler, and made a call and got over to Ohio Valley Wrestling with probably the best class ever with Cena, Batista, Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Jim Cornette was running at the time, so
Yeah,
I was just
he was, yeah.
I mean, he was probably just ecstatic when he had that group.
That's when you're on top of the world right there.
And then they all left, and he had nothing really after that. The one after that was on Sergeant Slaughter.
Okay.
So as a kid, I always knew he was part of G.I. Joe.
Yep.
I thought he was part of G.I. Joe while with the WWE, and that wasn't the case. So what happened was he pretty much just made up the character Sergeant Slaughter from a couple old movies or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the guy's actual name was Sergeant Slaughter in the movie too. I forgot. I can't remember what the name of the movie was, and just started doing that persona. And so when he's doing interviews and stuff, he's acting as the Sergeant Slaughter character. So yeah, I was in the Marines. I was doing this. I was in Vietnam and all that stuff. In reality, he never was.
Never was.
Just his character. So in the 80s, G.I. Joe was becoming more popular, and they liked the look he had and stuff like that, and offered him a deal. And they want to make an action figure of him. So he went and told Vince, and Vince is like, well, that's great. I'm happy for you, but we already have our line with LJN coming out. So that'd be a conflict of interest. So Sergeant Slaughter talked to his wife about it. She's like, you can always go back to pro wrestling. You're never going to have this opportunity to be with G.I. Joe again. So he gave his notice to WWE and started making all the cartoons with G.I. Joe and got all the action figures, lunch boxes, all the royalties for that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Made him super popular. And then they actually made a figure that was comparable to the LJN figures, but made his just slightly bigger.
Nice.
So you could still use that figure for the other stuff. And then after that, made a deal to come back with WWE when that stuff was kind of dying down. And man, when he came back was WrestleMania 7 era. He was just fat, out of shape.
Oh, he was big.
So they wanted him to come back as a heel and be an Irani Saddam Hussein sympathizer, if I said that word right. And joined with the Sheik, beat the Ultimate Warrior at the Royal Rumble for the belt because they were having issues with the Warrior. They're going to set up this huge WrestleMania 7 main event with him and Hogan. And it was supposed to be at the football field in LA, the Coliseum. I think they were supposed to outsell the Pontiac Silverdome, is what they were saying. And then the one side of the story is they were receiving bomb threats because of his storyline and because they were actually going to war with Kuwait, I believe, at the time.
Yeah, it was during the Gulf War.
So they then said, oh, no, we're going to scale it down and go to, I forget what arena it was, where it's only got 13,000 seats. When the truth was, I think Bruce Pritchard said they never sold the numbers that they were expecting to sell for tickets for that one, the Stars and Stripes Forever WrestleMania. And I mean, he had his match with Hogan. Hogan wins in great American fashion. And for me, Sergeant Slaughter, I never really cared for him as a wrestler.
But as an action figure,
As an action figure, it was cool. On G.I. Joe was cool.
Yeah, he didn't do much in the ring. Didn't
No.
do well. Yeah.
He was smart, but he didn't have the talent.
Yeah. Didn't have the drive.
And then last week's biography was on Scott Hall, the great Scott Hall, Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
I believe he passed away 2 years ago this past week.
There you go.
It was March 12th or 14th,
Yeah.
2022. So I thought he was just going in for a routine heart procedure. When they said in the documentary, what happened is during COVID, he slipped and fell at his house, broke his hip, I believe, was like laying on the ground for 3 days,
Jesus.
got to the hospital, and then had like 3 heart attacks at the hospital.
Wow.
And then they put him on life support just so everyone could come say goodbye. And that was it.
That was it.
Because even prior to that, I mean, Diamond Dallas Page and that DDP yoga
Right.
kind of saved his life. 'Cause I mean, like I remember seeing the clip of him, was it helping his son, and like he couldn't even like walk. I mean,
Right.
he looked like a giant bowling ball.
Yeah, because they had a lot of that in the Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts documentary, where Jake was also doing the DDP yoga, staying with him. It was something where I don't know if it was Hogan or Nash or X-Pac. They were like, they couldn't get a hold of, or none of them heard from Hall for a while. It's like they had DDP give him a call up and like made him the offer of come stay with me for a while. We'll get you back in shape or whatever. And then he was able to actually go in the Hall of Fame that year with the NWO. I think that was that year.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, yeah, with him, it was like a lot of it stemmed back from when he was early 20s. Yeah, the bar incident where he was claiming self-defense, grabbing a gun, and pretty much shot and killed the guy.
Yeah.
So he always had those demons he was been dealing with. And
rest in peace.
got into drugs and alcohol.
That's right.
And was, yeah, because I think he found out his wife was pregnant with his son, Cody. And that's when he reached out to Dallas about getting him a job with WCW, which he came in as a diamond stud. And it's just like, stuff wasn't working with him. They're like, you look like Magnum TA.
Yeah.
And that look is gone. So they had him shave it, the big mustache he used to have, and he started talking more about like the look that he should need. It was like the more George Michael look, because George Michael was popular at the time on MTV.
A little scruffy beard.
Man
has now.
And he just wasn't catching a break in WCW at the time. Contract went up. I think Bruce Pritchard was watching WCW, took notice of Scott Hall, and Vince watched him, found out when his contract was up, brought him in. Vince wanted him to be a military guy when he first came in WWE because of his father's military background and that kind of stuff. And Scott Hall asked, have you ever seen the movie Scarface? And Vince didn't, never saw it. And like they started talking about it, and like Vince fell in love with that character.
Yeah.
So that's where Razor Ramon was born.
Razor Ramon. Hey, yo.
Well, I mean, that's just been my issue with a lot of these documentaries is they have such a long buildup for that first hour and a half.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden it's like the last 10 years of a guy's life or whatever is just wrapped up in 2 minutes.
Quick, throw it in. Let's get it in there.
So and tonight's is on Diamond Dallas Page. Next week, I believe, is on British Bulldog. And the week before WrestleMania is on Roman Reigns.
Oh, God.
And then the week after WrestleMania, the WWE Treasures comes back.
There you go.
A&E with the rivals tonight is, let's see, they did Undertaker versus Shawn last week. I believe tonight is Cena versus Randy Orton. And then the following week is Hardy Boys versus Dudley Boys versus Edge and Christian.
Dudley Boys. The good
So,
old
wow,
Dudley
I think we
Boys.
actually got everything that was on my notes.
I love it. That's why we do what we do here.
Oh, one more thing we didn't have.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar is back on the active roster.
He is. God, I saw that too. Come on.
And Vince before going to Vince, Brock actually like What did he do wrong? He's not guilty. They didn't find him guilty.
About
They
Vince.
never met. Well, him and the Janelle Grant situation.
Oh,
And Vince unloaded $412 million in shares to ensure that he can pay his massive legal bills that will be coming soon.
Oh yeah.
He's also got now the feds are after him as well.
Yeah.
From the
He'll be
reports.
on an island
Or
in Saudi.
somebody else. That's why he has that mustache. He'll shave it off. Nobody will know who he is anymore.
Put on some sunglasses.
That's it. Hey, listen,
All
we
right.
got to run. Thanks for hanging out with us on this episode of Let Me Tell You Something, Brother. Come back in a couple weeks. We'll do it all over again. And then we've got the tag team match. When is it? April? May?
So WrestleMania is April 6th and 7th.
April 6th and 7th. So about 3 weeks away.
Correct.
3 weeks away. That's the big deal.
The belts are on the line.
The belts are going to be on the line. Maybe we can get your opponents in here for the night, for the Sunday before.
We'll see. I know the Sunday before is Easter.
Oh,
So we may have to do a different day.
we may have to do a different day. All right. Well, we'll figure it out.
Oh, does Tuesday work for you?
Yeah. Jesus loved wrestling too.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, for all of us here, happy belated Austin 316 day to everybody. And remember, look,
There's quotes there.
What?
Okay.
Bleacher Report. Where did those come from? EVP Young Bucks are high.
Oh, I got one of my kids.
Well, that was bizarre, wasn't it? Well, all right. SG3, how are you? I don't know. Those are at 8. It's crazy. What's happening?
Wow.
All right, listen, we got to run.
Yay, technical difficulties.